According to the Pew Forum on Religion and Public Life, the number of mosques in the United States surged 57% within the last decade, went from 1,209 to 1,897. In 2010, there was a Houston Chronicle article that spoke about the mosque boom in the city of Houston. And it spoke about how these were multi-million-dollar projects. And it was a good article. And overwhelmingly, however, the consistent projects and the initiatives that we see going on in these beautiful edifices, our beautiful edifices, are the 5 daily prayers, Jum'ah, and Ramadan. And the topic of my talk initially was 5 reasons your mosque is stuck, but I think for the sake of time, I condensed it to 3 reasons, but originally I had 12 reasons. So about 3.5 years or so ago, we started here in the city of Houston an Imam's training course, a leadership training course. It was really nothing like it that we saw in, definitely not in the city of Houston, but nationwide. And the objective throughout the course, and it went on for 3 years, and we're actually starting another one, but throughout the course, the students, we were encouraged not to just sit in the masjid, but we were basically obligated. If you wanted to be a part of this class, you were actually obligated to do something, to actually get a project as you were going through the class and work on it. So many of the brothers had several projects that they were working on, whether starting organizations, speaking on college campuses, or other projects. And after completing the class myself, I said, well, I know I don't want to just sit on the floor in the masjid. I want to do something. I want to do something in a big way, and I want to do something that had just a wow factor to it. And I know that, okay, well, I'd been speaking in several masajids throughout the city and even other places in the country, but I said, I don't want just another masjid. I don't want just another masjid. So what can I do that I feel could be unique with the space that we could use that's already present? And so obviously Ibrahim Islamic Center was an idea that came out of it, but the reason why we call it a center rather than a masjid, of course there's the masjid there, but we also have strips in there what we use for outreach. Obviously, because of my own personal experiences, being into social activism, social justice, and working with the problems of humanity, both Muslim and non-Muslim, was very dear to my heart. And so obviously our objective and our mission is to deal with, basically, you can come to the masjid and you can get counseling on your finances. You can get help with your taxes, whether Muslim or non-Muslim. We have a project where we're actually building we've gotten some property where it will house Muslims who are homeless, because we get those calls. Brothers who are homeless, sisters who are homeless. And so, alhamdulillah, so these are the type of projects that we're working on. But number one, I have the 3 reasons that I have are you're focusing. The first reason your masjid is stuck is you're focusing on bigger versus better. And mind you, I think it's important that we have multi-million-dollar edifices. That's important. We can't stay in storefronts all of our lives. But when we do it, when we just build a masjid just because the demand is there, but without vision, without a mission statement, without a clear vision statement, without a clear mission statement, then we know no one can beat us as Muslims. No one can beat us fundraising. No one can beat us building masajid. But the number one reason that I think that we're stuck is you're focusing on bigger versus better. Oftentimes we get into masajids and we're focusing on how many activities we can get started rather than focusing or zooming in on 2 or 3 remarkable activities that we could actually make what is the brand of our particular masjid. So when we have numerous activities and we're just like all over the place, it basically just makes us distracted. So it's better to just go to work on a few remarkable ideas and perfect those. Some of the things that obviously needed, and we do have, to be fair, there are masajid in our city that focus on these, but we definitely have to continue the youth programs, community outreach, youth programs and community outreach, and take the time to actually improve the masjid and not work on bigger ways of mediocre. So if we have bigger, we're all focused on obviously the bigger masjid. We're focusing on how to make our next event even bigger, how to make the next even bigger. Why not zoom in on the small things? Now I can tell you as a Muslim convert, when we walk into a masjid, we focus on, obviously, yes, the worship services, but the small things that traditionally Muslims we don't focus on. So we focus on, obviously, when we come from going to church on Sunday, the church is nice, it's beautiful, it's clean, it's nice AC there. You go in the restroom, it's clean. People greet you with smiles, they hug you, they embrace you, and you see it's sincere. But then you come out of the church and you go to the masjid and you get up from salat, everybody is gone, no one greets you, no one smiles, no one says assalamu alaikum, whatever it is. You go in the restrooms are filthy, water everywhere. The carpet is dirty, it smells like feet. These are some of the small things that new converts focus on in the masjid. So perhaps we could focus on these small things. The new converts will focus on what services are there for me and my family? What services do the masjid offer? Will the masjid, if I need help with my finances, is there someone to help me here? What is the community outreach like in this particular masjid? Very, very important. Number 2, you lack, going back then, just the other day, I was in the, let's go to my second point for the sake of time. Number 2, you lack a leadership empowerment plan. You lack a leadership empowerment plan. Oftentimes we feel that, especially as younger Muslims, we feel that basically in order for us to get leadership positions in the masjid, to start projects in the masjid, we feel that our uncles have to die, our aunties have to die before we will be allowed to actually step up and produce more ideas and start projects. This is the way many young Muslims feel, unfortunately. And as I said, we come out of the Imam's training class that I went through and several other brothers, and but because we believe that is so important to have a succession plan. As soon as the Imam steps up, he should be training 3 or 4 people to take his place, but also sisters, just as important, to start projects in the community, in the masjid, to take this thing forward. So whenever you have a situation where the masjid is just personality driven, if the Imam doesn't speak, no one shows up. Or everyone shows up on Friday because it's an obligation, but throughout the week, the masjid is basically empty. So we have a multi-million-dollar edifice that is, throughout the week, there are no community projects going on. There's nothing for the non-Muslim public as well. The Prophet ﷺ, he trained leaders. Everyone that was around him, he held them accountable. He trained Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, radiallahu anhu. He trained Umar. He trained Ali. He trained Uthman. He trained many of the Sahaba. Training leaders. And when he passed on, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, obviously they were ready to take the mantle. So we have to have in our masajid a leadership training program, a leadership empowerment program. Especially someone that can instill in our youth the need for leadership and the need to live a mission-oriented life. That if we can instill in them that it's your responsibility to take this forward. If I, as the Imam, die tomorrow, Who is it here that's going to be qualified rather than importing an imam from overseas? Who will be here? Indigenous leadership here to be able to step up to the mountain. And the third and last reason is you ignore people outside the mosque. Very, very important. Community outreach. Reach out. Muslims, we have to get out of the four walls of our masajid, the four walls of our organization, and begin to reach out to the community. This is the best form of da'wah. The best form of da'wah. I can tell you today, before I came here, we were out in the community doing community service work. That's the best form of da'wah, when you can go to someone and you can provide services for them. Come to the masjid. There's drug and alcohol counseling here at this masjid. Come to the masjid, we will feed you. This is what is happening. Rather than me just going out, handing you a pamphlet and saying, Islam is this, Islam is not that. People's heart will acclimate and warm towards you when we can provide for their vital needs and services. You can come to the masjid, we can show you how to start a business if you're unemployed. And things like that. We're in a country where there is a million ways to make a halal dollar. And this is, like I say, we cannot continue to ignore people outside of the masjid. We can't continue to turn inward. We have to look at the masjid as also for those who are outside of the masjid. Thank you. Jazakallah khair.